How's it? Today is Monday, September 22nd. I have some snatch work today, and my body is really, really sore. Very tight, very stiff from all of the deadlifts and honestly the bench pressing that I did on Saturday. And I don't want to make an excuse as to why things went the way they did today, but I for sure can tell you that I was not at 100% on my upper body flexibility nor my hip flexibility. My back feels pretty good, so that is a big positive that I'm going to kind of focus on moving forward for the remainder of the week. But snatches today they left a lot to be desired, and I I'm not super upset with it given everything I kind of laid out. My my shoulders, you know, whenever you bench press, your shoulders will end up getting tight, especially if you haven't bench pressed in a while. I also have had a lot of rotator cuff injury, not injuries. I had a lot of rotator cuff issues when I was in high school. So anytime I would bench and my rotator cuff would be a little bit weak, I wouldn't be able to move my arm in a way that didn't hurt. So um, not it's not back to that point. Like it wasn't nearly as bad as it was back in high school, but definitely my shoulders feel extremely slow and sluggish, and you can see there on that 80 snatch balance. I was not really able to push my hands very quickly, but it turned out okay. Like at the end of it all, 100 here was actually very, very, very challenging. I didn't feel like I had the most amount of stability overhead, like right here. Uh oh. Yeah, that was weird. I failed the 100, and I come back and I was like, okay, like as long as I give myself a strong enough push with my legs, then this should not be an issue. So 110 I went up to, which is heavier than last week. And yeah, I was able to do it today, and I I don't know. I feel like if I'm not as tight as I normally am, or if I'm not as tight as I was today, then things would have been very different. It is worth noting that I'm starting to feel slowly, more and more like presence of strength, and that is something that I have been trying to work towards. For the last few weeks, I've been adding the back squat day in, and I've also been doing more dedicated pulls. Whereas in the past, when I was lifting the Monday through Thursday training split, pulls kind of fell to the wayside. And like I did have them in there, but because I would have to do squats and pulls on the same day, then it made it feel like I wasn't giving enough effort to both squats and pulls. And so now that I've kind of removed them and given myself an entire day to squat on my own or on its own, then it feels like it is a little bit better, more like proper usage of time. That phrasing, like you can't half-ass, or well, not you can't, but don't half-ass one thing, or don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. Did I just make that up? I don't know. That sounds like I made that up, but I promise I've heard that from somewhere else before. Don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to put a little bit more emphasis on the strength movements so that I can dedicate more energy and more time to them. And I think so. I mean, slowly but surely, the sample size is really small, but I feel like I'm moving in the right direction, and my body is starting to feel better and better. Here's my first set of power snatch plus hang snatch at 82. This is actually pretty hard today. I increased by 1 kilo from last week, and I failed a bunch. But um, again, I'm trying to just chalk it up to being really tight. I feel strong. Like I feel stronger than I did a few weeks ago, and that means that I shouldn't be feeling the way I'm feeling. But that was a really solid power snatch, and then just a little bit out front, which again, I think that is mostly due to being tight with my upper body and stuff like that. Um, there was a little puppy that came into the gym. I don't know her name, but I felt very, very bad trying to lift with her there, because anytime I dropped the weight, it like she would like kind of, well, I ran off the platform. She would kind of pick up her head and just look at me, and I felt very, very, very bad. So like with the snatch pulls, she's looking at me right there. With the snatch pulls, I'm kind of trying to put them down a little bit more uh, gingerly, a little bit more soft, so that I don't create a giant ruckus. And I think, I mean, if you look at anything in the right perspective, then this is always going to be beneficial. And so, in the sense that if I can slowly lower the weight after extension all the way to the ground, then I am probably in a better spot overall. I can gain a little bit of that eccentric strength from there. Um, yeah, hopefully I'll be able to kind of do these snatch pulls for a little bit more, and maybe get to snatching a little bit heavier moving forward. I know on like immediately when I was thinking about this training session, I felt like I would need to do this again next week, but I don't know if that's something that I want to do. I might want to restart the program so that I can give myself give myself a little bit better chance to have a stronger foundation. Um, I don't know what that might look like if I do that, like maybe snatching off of the blocks or something like that. Maybe hang power snatches. I don't know if that's going in the exact opposite direction, but um, I feel like I'm kind of topping out right now at my capabilities for power snatch, and I don't think that is necessarily the best thing for where I am in the program right now, because I don't think it is a good idea to progress moving forward. I do think it might be better to restart. So we'll see what happens next week. There's a good chance I'll just redo this. But yep, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Shoots.